Hey everyone, it's Bryan Caplan here with the Bigger, Better Biz community, where I equip you with the tools and know-how to grow that bigger, better small business. I'm actually really excited today because we don't just have one special guest, we have two. We have Sharva here, and we also have Milo, who's only 17 months old. Sharva, how are you?
I'm well. I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing well. Hi, Milo. How you doing, buddy?
Doing, buddy.
Yeah, hello. So,
Okay.
Sharva, I have a question for you. Queen Springs, where did you get the name?
So Queen Springs, queen, of course, every woman is a queen. And so as queens, we give so much of ourselves. Like we're nursing our children. We are holding our children with our arms. We're listening with our ears. We carry them in our wombs. We're birthing them through our bodies. And we're always giving so much. And we love with our hearts. And so we give encouraging words with our mouth, of course. And so that's where Queen Springs comes from. It's because, like a spring, as women, we give so much of ourselves.
I love it. That's perfect. And so the idea of Queen Springs is that you're a lactation consultant. You're also a parenting consultant. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. As a lactation consultant, of
Yeah.
course, just offering services to my rural area at home. And then, of course, we offer virtual services as well.
Okay. So as a lactation consultant, for those who may not have had children or may, it might be sometime later in life, basically,
Mhm,
like for me, I was telling you before we hit record, my daughter
mhm.
Olivia, when she came out, she was having trouble latching to my wife, basically when she was
Right.
breastfeeding.
Mhm.
So you come in and you help with different strategies or tricks in order to help the baby latch and the mom to be able to feed the
Exactly.
baby. Okay.
Exactly that. Mhm.
Awesome. And with parenting consulting, is it just for like newborns? Does it go up to a certain age?
Well, with the parent consulting, what that is pretty much is we do different services that are like car seat installation. We check that. We do some safety services, so like childproofing in the home. And we're
Mhm.
getting more into going in and helping parents set up their nurseries with gear and everything, making sure that everything is set up safely and properly. And of course,
Mhm.
we're getting into offering other services like Lamaze, and we're going to be doing some virtual classes and things like that. So we're trying to offer the full experience for parents to be their one-stop shop where they can come and they can get a newborn boot camp, they can get Lamaze, even grandparent and sibling preparation and things like that. So that's the parenting consulting part of it.
You're a springboard for parents as well. It's
Exactly.
pretty cool.
Exactly.
I love it. So you're basically taking the life of a child. You're there from day one when they need to latch all the way
Hmm.
through helping with ideas of childproofing the home into, and
Exactly.
then do you have, so I guess a question for you is, as you start thinking about it, you're a lot of people, they always kind of, businesses have this issue with figuring out the lifetime value of their customer and how
Right.
long that lifetime is.
Right.
Because you're going to be getting up there, you're going to be childproofing and installing in the
Hmm.
nursery. So you already have at
Right.
least 3, 4 stages where you're hitting them. What are you thinking for when the child gets a little older? Have you thought to that yet? When they're a toddler, 4 or 5?
We haven't thought out that far just yet. I'm looking at some things right now, offering some different classes. Only thing right now with that age group that we have really is our sibling preparation. Pretty
Mhm.
much, just kind of introducing the child to what it's going to be like and just kind of letting them do a little role play and things like that. So right
Sure.
now, that's the only thing that we have available, but we're definitely looking at that age group because as we've seen with doing these sessions with children, that is they have needs as well. Of
Of
course, when
course.
they're little newborn and things, they have more needs,
Oh,
but the older that
oh
they
yeah.
get, like I said, even with the child proofing and things like that. So we're definitely looking into that.
We've been through all of it. And the reason why I'm asking is, of course, there's you get to a point where you grow your organization so much that you can
Hmm.
only offer so many things and be good at them. And
Right.
so the thing that I want to plant in your head is how can you start then teaming up with a local music school that can do music classes, mommy and
Wow.
me music classes or singing,
Right.
right? So how can you maybe get a local cook that can do mommy and me chef, like cooking
Oh,
classes?
wow. I love that.
So because you got to start thinking like, what do they do when they're 4, 5, 6? You're basically going to be a development specialist, and that's where
Like
you're going
that.
to be offering all this extra value. You're going to be sending
Right.
recipes that moms can do at home, but then hey, you know
Right.
what? turn on your computer or pop up your iPad. We're going to have a Zoom session with Chef Zach or Chef Mary, and they're going to come in and they're going to teach you how to do a recipe. You're going to be able to do it together. We'll send you the recipe beforehand. You can go get all the groceries, and then we'll cook together. So
that's perfect.
Yeah, just keep thinking about
I
how you
love
can.
that. Now my wheels are turning.
Yeah, exactly. Good. That's what we want. So we want you to keep layering. The other thing that I'm thinking, right, is, well, tell me a little bit more, because my mind starts going and I don't stop. How did you get into this? I read your About Us, but tell us in your own words how you became a specialist in this area.
Okay. Well, as I'm actually a parent and I have 6 children, so they range in age from 1 to 13. And so I've dealt with all those stages of parenting at this point. And sadly, most of those have been by myself. But at the same time, I feel like my purpose and my passion was birthed out of that. So it was definitely not in vain. And so the thing that I needed the most has always been support. That from day one, the coming home and, with a fresh baby, still having to take children to school, still having to do all these things and just kind of figure all of it out on my own. And then that's when I noticed that, I'm definitely not the only one, who would need something like this, who needs that support. Even, people whose partners are there or who they have a little support, or maybe they don't have that support when they're needing it. Because Queen Springs is actually another thing we're looking at doing, is offering postpartum doula services, which is essentially a nanny, pretty much.
Yeah.
So when you come home from that hospital, that nanny is there at night, whether you need, lactation care, or whether you just need to get some rest, a shower. It's kind of to help the mom stay sane, pretty much. So pretty much that's where it comes from. It comes from my need for needing support and understanding that other people needed that, and knowing that I didn't want anybody to have to go through these stages without that support if it was something that I could offer.
First off, hats off to you. I mean,
thank you.
My wife and I were talking about this because we know some single parents too, and it's not easy for us raising our kids, let alone imagining a single mom. So number one, mad respect to you.
Thank you.
2, I think you have a great story, right? And with a lot of the clients that we work with, we're always talking about, what's your story? How can we really use your story? And I think right there, that's a great story, because you're creating from a place of need, and you realize the pain point single-handedly, and there's babies being born every few seconds, right? So there's always people that are going to need these services. So I think you see a need, fill a need. That's what you're doing. I honestly think that you could take your story and you could probably have your story match up with the different services and the different stages of service that you offer. Since you have those kids, I mean, you already have a kid that's a teenager, but you've gone through all those stages already, at least, 4 or 5 times, and now it's going to be the 6th. What I would think about as you're going through is how you can match up your story or a certain experience you had with the service you're offering. Tie it in.
Gotcha.
That's going to be powerful. It's not just let's use the doula service, for example, right? So, postpartum, you're in the hospital. Depending on the hospital, you might be in there 2 nights. If your baby, like for us, Olivia she had antibiotics that she needed. So she needed to be in there 3 nights. And then, 2.5 days in, those nurses are great, but then they're like, see you later. We got to make room for the next one. It's like going to a hotel, like checkout day, get out. Right. So, and then you're like, whoa, what just happened? I thought I was going to be pampered. Right. So I want you to think about, like, one time when you really needed that, when you needed the village to help you, how are you feeling? How can you make other people feel that? How can you actually share your emotion and convey it so that the mom that might be a single mom, or may have a partner that is there but has to work, or is there but isn't present, you got to kind of connect with them, right? So use story. I want you to use story in everything you do. And that's going to play into, if you do videos, that's going to play into if you do social media, if you're writing emails, which I know you wanted to talk about, blog posts, stories is what's going to resonate. And as a mom, you probably have tons of them, right?
Oh, yes.
Yes. So that's one. And a great exercise for you to do is have a notepad or a little journal or something you can get at like a dollar store and just write down, or
Mhm.
use your phone and use the notes app or whatever, and just write down when you have a
Mhm.
story, stop and write it
Mhm.
down. Almost like how stand-up
Okay.
comedians come up with their jokes and they write it down really quick. I want you to do the
Yeah.
same thing.
Yeah.
You can always pull from
Okay.
that bank later on.
Okay.
Okay. So that's one.
Great.
Now, I have a very good idea of what you're doing. What we can do is we'll take a look really quick at just the technicals, right? So we'll look at your
Okay.
website because I know you wanted
Huh?
to check that out. Let me share my screen.
Mhm.
So you should be seeing your website on your phone right now.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And I know that you said you built it on Squarespace. Great,
Mhm.
easy site to use.
Mhm.
You know, for those watching, Squarespace is like Wix or Weebly. It has the same kind of features as a drag and drop editor. We built our website in Squarespace. We work a lot on Squarespace sites, and good SEO value. The cool thing is if a mom is checking this out on a phone, it
Mhm.
automatically responds to the
It
phone. So it's
does.
a nice mobile responsive website, which is great. So walk me through the site. Just in your eyes, since you built it, what do you
Mhm.
want people to do?
When they come to the site, I do definitely want them to see the story. I feel like that kind of helps them to connect to the entire brand,
Mm-hmm.
and encourages longevity on that part. And of course, I definitely want them to review the services and know what they're booking before they book it. Like I want them to know what this service entails um, before they book it. And I just really want them. What's really important for me is really for them to feel connected. I just recently added a blog for that as well. I
Very
want them to
nice.
be able to have their questions answered. Any questions that I'm thinking that I would have. The way I went through it was, okay, so when I'm visiting somebody's website, like where am I going? So when I was looking at maybe competitor websites, I would go and I would say, okay, so when I go here, I want to make sure that I can book this service. Also, I want to know who I'm dealing with, like who is this person and what's their story
Mm-hmm.
behind what they're doing. And of course, I want it to be easy because as a mom, I know some websites that I visited, I just wanted to do one simple thing and I couldn't do that one simple thing. So, like if I just wanted to go and I seen something I wanted to sign up for, I wanted to go to that and just be able to, here it is, just click
Yep.
maybe one thing, two things, and then just have it be there. And I
Mm-hmm.
just want different people from different backgrounds as well to be able to connect with the website. I don't want it to be like an older mom looks at it, she's not able to connect, or a younger mom, or even a dad. I don't want them to come to my website and be like, oh, this is for ladies, or something like that. Like I want people to be able to connect. The people who are gonna need the service and who are gonna book the service, maybe for themselves or a friend, I want them to be able to find exactly what they're looking for.
I love it. I love it. So again, the cool thing is, we talk a lot, and you said that you just come to the $1 Million Marketers Roadmap. So you know that we
Mm-hmm.
talk about buyer persona.
Mm-hmm.
You are the buyer persona. You know
Mm-hmm.
exactly what you need. Like this doesn't happen very often. Most
Yeah.
business owners think they know their customers. You are your customer. Like you get up and you're
Yeah.
like, what do I need? Okay, this is something I could offer to someone, right? So
Mm-hmm.
that's another thing I want you to think about. You're going to have one notepad or notebook or a notes app. Do you have like an iPhone or Android? What do you have?
I have an iPhone, and I
Okay, so you have
definitely
the
use
notes
that
app.
notes app a lot. That, and
Good.
sometimes if I can't write, I just record a quick video. So I do
A
that as
video
well.
or voice memo.
Didn't even think about the voice.
Voice memos. They're great. They're
Those
great on the
videos
go.
getting packed.
Yeah. Yeah, because the videos take up so much space. So
Yeah.
what I want you to do is have one, whatever you do, voice memos, whatever, for your stories, another one for whenever you have a need, because you're your buyer persona. So
Okay.
if you wake up and you're and Milo there, handsome little
Mm-hmm.
Milo is crying or needs something, and you're like,
Uh-huh.
man, I gotta cook breakfast. I wish I just had an easy button. Like, okay,
Right.
is that a worksheet or a PDF that we could create for other moms? That's like 5 easy recipes to get out in 5 minutes.
Wow.
Right?
Right. Right.
Think of all the pain points you have because you're your customer. Anything that
Right.
can add value, anything. Because the cool
I
thing
love
is
that.
once you create that, and you know how you create it, Google Docs or a Word doc, type out the
Mm-hmm.
recipes, If you get
Uh-huh.
them from online, just cite the source, like this is
Like the
from
source.
All Recipes or whatever. And then
Mm-hmm.
you put your, let's go up, you put your Queen Springs branding on it. And then you have,
Okay.
sign up or get more info or join our mailing list. Boom.
Neat. Okay.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
So that's something you should always be thinking about. What pain point do I have? And then what
Mm-hmm.
resources could I create to help that pain point?
Okay.
Is
Okay.
it something like, okay, I'm not getting good sleep, right? So if you have a
Right.
baby, you're not getting good sleep. But let's even think
Right.
about a mom that's, that has the baby that's 6 months old or so and is starting to sleep, starting on
Mm-hmm.
schedule, maybe getting up a couple times at night. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
what are some simple tips that can help you get better sleep? Because there's different levels of sleep and
Right.
different qualities of sleep. So just
Right.
being in bed doesn't mean sleep. Hey, here
Right.
are 10 tips to make sure you get better sleep. Turn off your phone or screens an
Mm-hmm.
hour before bed. Take a bath or shower. Have a hot cup of herbal tea. Do this. Again, isn't that something that
Right.
would be great for you to know if someone had told you, like, if all the kids are in
Exactly.
bed,
Yes.
instead of you sitting and doing stuff like, okay, let me just veg and then get some quality sleep because I need it so I don't go crazy.
Exactly that.
Yep. Yep. So that's your other homework. One is stories, the other one is pain points. And
Mm-hmm.
basically, when you have those pain points, they become a story anyways, but you figure out resources you can create to help people with that. The reason why I ask you about that, and the reason why I bring it up, is because when we're on the site, right, we've got contact us, we have FAQs. Your
Mm-hmm.
main call to action is schedule appointment. And I click
Mm-hmm.
on it, you're using Squarespace scheduling, which is great. So people can
Uh-huh.
schedule. How many people are actually scheduling through here? Are you getting some business through it?
I'm actually not. For the most part, I'm not. Now I've been looking at my analytics, and it
Yep.
seems like a lot of people right now are just kind of going through and kind of clicking through and everything. Just I guess getting a feel for everything. But I'm not. I'm not actually getting any appointments through there.
So there's a reason, right? So if I go
Mm-hmm.
back,
I'm
I'll
gonna
tell you
find it.
exactly why.
Okay.
Now we're going through, that's a beautiful picture of you, by the way. And I love
Thank
the
you.
background and everything. You look gorgeous. So
Thank
we've got the photo of you. We have like the kind of story and everything, right?
you. Mm-hmm.
But I don't know you. Like people in your
Right.
town and around you, they know you. Like you said, small town. But if
Right.
I'm looking for someone, especially if you're offering virtual appointments, I don't know you.
Right.
So number one is I'm not gonna start dating you right away. I've got to kind of
Right.
court you, sniff around, get an idea.
Definitely.
Like people would look on Facebook or Instagram, get an idea first, and then
Right.
something like that. So the same kind of thing for you. Instead of assuming people are going to schedule appointment, which is what we want, that's a primary call to action.
Uh-huh.
Instead, I want you to think about a resource you could create, a
Okay.
worksheet, a checklist, a guide, and a lot of the stuff that you're getting in the emails right now from me, look at those and see how
Mm-hmm.
you could turn some of your information into one of those. A
That's
worksheet would
wise.
be great,
Okay.
right? And instead of the main call to action being schedule appointment, hey, download the mommy to be worksheet or download the new mom or postpartum worksheet or guide.
Love that.
Now people are joining your mailing list. Now you have the
Right.
ability to tell them the story, to
Okay.
introduce them to your services. Because according to Google, the average person is going to look at 140 information sources. So 140 points of information before they'll click on buy. For something like you and what you
Mm-hmm.
offer, it's going to be a heck of a lot more than 140,
Yeah.
right? Because I
Mm-hmm.
need to know you know what you're doing, and I'm trusting you with like
Exactly.
my bundle of joy.
Credentials.
Exactly.
Hold on, buddy.
All of that. So that's where the email is going to help. It's going to drip feed them your credentials, your background, your story, your services, delighted customers and testimonials, all of those things, so that not only are they able to look at your site, read your blog, now they can get your emails too. It's helping them get closer to booking an appointment with you. And every email you have getting into your email strategy is
Uh-huh.
going to always mention your services. It's going to
Okay.
have a note from you at the top, which talks about your
Like that.
story, right?
Right. Right.
So, the thing here is your stories are going to become your blog posts. Your blog posts are going to contain links to your different services that they can schedule.
Right.
Your emails will include a little bit of your blog post, which is your story, plus a link
Uh-huh.
to read more or schedule the appointment. So now they're getting to
Gotcha.
know you, they're hearing your story. You see what I'm doing there?
I love that because I mean it connects everything together. And that's exactly what I'm looking to do. Like I said, I want people to get to know me before they book a service, just because that's the way I operate. And that's how I feel. Um, that's how I feel it should be, I guess. That's the kind of business I'm trying to run where they can actually connect with me, not just, purchase from me.
Exactly. And the other thing that I'll tell you too is think about, so you've gone through it so many times, but think about that first time mom. What are they asking you? So like if I go to your frequently asked questions, which I'm glad you
Mm-hmm.
have, by the way, I'm glad you have this page. It's
Uh-huh.
a page that we tell everyone to have. So
Uh-huh.
you've got 3 right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why would someone need a lactation consulting services, counseling services? It's not
Mm-hmm.
instinctive. Okay. So you have very quick answers. Fine. Because I think
Mm-hmm.
you just created the page and then you're going to go back and work on it. You have
Yeah,
tons to do.
definitely with that fact. Yeah.
Yep. So what I want you to do is I want you to sit and list out the top 10 to 20 questions. You do not have to add all of them into your FAQ page, but I
Okay.
would have the top 10.
Okay.
I don't think I can breastfeed. Fine. Let's chat. How does what is the process of your service? What are the steps? First, we do this, then this. Set the expectation for them. Think about like a simple thing, like when you go into a store to go buy something, you've never been in it before. And first thing you have to do is kind of familiarize yourself and figure it out, right? How
Right.
can you familiarize them with working with you? Tell them the steps. Here's
Mm-hmm.
exactly what we're going to do in this
Oh,
session.
wow.
And on that too,
Okay.
if, like right now, again, time is the factor, but like
Uh-huh.
your in-home consultation, your virtual consultation, ideally what you want to do is have a page dedicated to each of these down the road.
Okay. Okay.
And so the page would be virtual lactation consultant or virtual
Okay.
lactation consultation. And again, what are the steps? Here's my story, why you should be working with me. Here are some testimonials. And here, sign up now. Easy and simple. So if you can just think about it that way, the 3 things that I want you to do uh, when you have time, of course, but after this call: 1, start writing your stories; 2, start writing your pain points and every need you have throughout the day;
Okay.
and 3, list out your top 10 to 20 frequently asked questions
Okay.
on your FAQs page. I'd love to see, at least, I think 7 to 10 questions on here that you're answering, and try
I
to
agree.
answer these a little bit more in depth. Think about
Okay.
it, even if you
Okay.
have to use voice memo. And
Uh-huh.
so have someone ask you, why would someone need lactation consulting services? Record yourself and then listen to it and write it out, because the way you speak is going to be different than the way you write. So,
Right. For sure.
right. So if you're hearing yourself and then you type it out, that's how you're going to sound when you're talking to someone anyways. So you want it to sound like you. So that's what I would start with. For email, I think just the big thing, before you even jump into email, get your story down, figure out
Okay.
how your different stories tie into your different services, and then start with a Google Doc or a Word doc and
Mm-hmm.
write out the story and why the service came to be. Story,
Okay.
why the service came to be. Those are going to
That
be your
makes sense.
emails. Yeah, real
Okay.
simple. And then each one becomes an email. And then you just, if you can think about a checklist, come up with something really simple and easy, maybe something that
Uh-huh.
you already share with people, and
Right.
have people now sign up for that. Hey, give me your name, your email address, and the name of your baby. And
Okay.
is
Oh, people
and
love
what
sharing that type of information. So yes,
right? Because then
like
you
you said,
can,
baby
in
names
those
and things.
emails, the cool thing is with emails, you can personalize it. So it's like, hey Jane, I hope that baby Shayla is doing wonderful, blah blah blah. Here's
Yeah.
the next tip. So now it's like super personalized because you're mentioning the
Right.
mom and the baby.
Right. Oh, that's
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
That's good.
So I gave you a lot. Do you have any questions based off what we talked about?
I don't, just
Okay.
very excited because that's
Yeah, I'm
like
excited for you.
all the sparks went off in my brain when you were saying all that. So like I can
Good,
visualize what you were saying. So this is gonna be great.
good. And it's just chipping away, right? So if
Mm-hmm.
you can do 1% a day, then in a year you'll have done quite a bit.
Right.
That's gonna, I think that's gonna really help you. And with regards to, again, with email marketing, there are the free services like we talked about, MailChimp. There's Squarespace email campaigns that ties into your website. There's Constant Contact, which is another one that we use quite a bit. If you're going to do any of them, the first thing I want you to do is just have those emails prepared. What happens is a lot of people will start off and they'll say, okay, gung ho, got my website, I'm going to start doing emails. And then they go to write their first email and they just freeze. They didn't think about it. They didn't use like the story, pain point, resolution formula or anything else. So they freeze, and guess what they do? They keep paying that subscription fee and just put it off. It's like, hey, as long as I'm paying it, it's there. But it's just like having a gym membership. If you don't walk in the door, you're not going to get fit.
That's a waste.
Exactly. So have all your ducks in a row, have those stories, why you came up with the service and how people can get started, the steps to it. Write those out. Wow. You got blog posts, you have the making for videos you can record and put up, and you have your emails.
Nice. Yep. I'm excited.
Awesome. I'm so glad. I'm really excited for you. I think you're really lucky. Not only have you given birth to, I'm sure, 6 wonderful kids, but you're also coming from a place of giving because you've been there. And again, there's not many people that live the life of their buyer persona.
Right.
So absolutely, you've got the recipe for success. Just start cooking.
Great. That's good to hear as well. So I appreciate that.
My absolute pleasure. It's so nice meeting you, and thank you so much. And so for everybody watching, they can go learn more about you and the business by going to queenssprings.com.
Right? That's correct. Queenssprings.com.
And you're also on Instagram, Facebook, and that's where you're most active, right? Wonderful. Wonderful. Okay. Well, hey, Sharva, thank you so much for taking the time to do a blueprint session with us. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Bryan.
Of course.